Welcome back to Jack of All Games Tabletop. I'm Dave Wallace, and this is the last video for 2024. I thought I would go out the same way I started. It was only about 5 or 6 months ago, but we're going to end the year with a top 10 list, which of course plenty of people are doing. But rather than doing the typical, top 10 of all time, as a collector, I'm constantly adding new games, and so I'm going to do my top 10 games that I added to my collection in 2024. Now, these are not 2024 games necessarily, some of them are, but these are just games, whether they are old, used, brand new, game store, got them from a friend, whatever the case is. These are just games that I added that are my favorites from the ones that I did add this year. Now I do have a couple of, I had 3 honorable mentions that I was going to put at the beginning of this. And they were honorable mentions because they were games that I knew that I loved, but I actually didn't have in my collection. I just had a chance to play them in 2024. I knew I wanted to get my hands on them. That was about a week ago, and then Christmas hit, and 2 of them moved onto this actual list that we're going to do. So that means I really only have 1 of those as an honorable mention, and that is Deep Rock Galactic. This is by Mood Publishing. This is a 2022 game. A lot of fun. I played it with a friend. I even painted his miniatures for him. Fun action game, sort of a dungeon crawler. Just the theme alone, space dwarves, drilling through asteroids, fighting giant alien monster bugs. Sold. It's awesome. Yeah, very fun game. Definitely highly recommend that one. So eventually I'm gonna have it in my collection, and so maybe next year it'll be on the top 10 part of this list. 2 other games that I wanted to mention before we actually dive into the top 10 list. One is sort of an honorable mention. It was actually, I guess, my biggest pleasant surprise of 2024. I got it dirt cheap on Amazon. It was on sale. I was buying other stuff and just thought, this thing's so cheap, I'll just toss it in there. My expectations were super low, and I decided, I actually thought that I probably wouldn't play it for a while, but I did and really enjoyed it, and that is Red Rising by Stonemaier Games, which should have been a clue to me that it was going to be a decent game no matter what. This is a 2021 game, and like I said, my expectations were really low, but turned out to be really fun. You've got a little bit of point salad there with different ways that you can score, and it's mostly a card game where you deploy a character card onto one planet, pick one up from another, and use their abilities. It's actually quite a bit of fun. I played it probably 4 times already, and really dig it. So yeah, I gotta recommend Red Rising as at least a surprise. On the other hand, my biggest disappointment of 2024, I did a review on it. I'm a huge fan of the IP. It's Escape from New York. I love Snake Plissken, one of my all-time favorite anti-heroes, and the game just kind of felt the same all throughout the whole thing. It just seemed a bit boring for as big as it was, and maybe for what my expectations were. And again, expectations do come into play. They can really ruin a game, or they can make it if they're low. So one thing I have learned, and this will get into more as we get into the actual list, but a lot of times when you get a game and your expectations are too high and you don't really dig it that much, set it aside for a couple months, come back to it having a better idea of what it is you're going to be playing. Might turn out to be a lot more interesting. So that's what I'm going to do. Now that I've played it, now that I know what it's like and wasn't really that happy with it, when I do come back to it, hopefully it'll be a lot more fun than I thought it was. All right, so that being said, let's get into the actual top 10 favorite games that I've collected in 2024. Number 10 is a 2024 game. It is the Mandalorian Adventures by Unexpected Games. This is a pretty fun game. It's just, a bit of a battler adventure. You basically have different chapters in which you go through different missions that pretty much mirror the season 1 of the show, The Mandalorian. And of course, I'm a big Star Wars fan anyway. Pretty cool. You have different card abilities that you perform a certain amount per action or per round. Sorry. And those card numbers that you play add up to how many new problems you're going to have in the next round. It's a pretty fun little game. My one disappointment about this game is that it comes with this really nice book map, and you have the scenarios that you play out where you use tokens for your characters and for your enemies. However, they included in it this comic book art in between the different maps, meaning like an actual storyboard layout, comic book style, just the pencil work. And that means there's 4 scenarios, 4 maps, and then 4 pages, double pages, so really 8 pages of comic strip that just pretty much shows the story we've already seen. It's a huge waste. I mean, not to say that it's not cool looking, but that should have been separate. They could have had another 4 maps. Now, I haven't got, I've only played 1 or 2 chapters of the game. And so I believe there's at least 8, which means you're going to have to replace some of those, or if not all of them. Yeah, it just seems like a waste when they could have just given us more maps. But yeah, other than that, really fun game, The Mandalorian Adventures. Number 9, I just did a review on, so you can go back 2 weeks and you can see that for more information. But the Isofarian Guard. This is by Sky Kingdom Games. It's a 2023 game. It is a 50-pound massive box, and it's a solo player game. A lot of fun. If you have the time, if you've got table space, if you've got the money to invest in it, it's a big, long campaign game. Multiple options. It's got a little bit of that choose your own adventure to it, like an RPG would have. Different card abilities, chip draw chips from the bag to see which kind of options you get that turn. Really cool, very in-depth, very beautiful. Like I said, if you're the person that has plenty of time to invest in it, I highly recommend it, definitely. Number 8 is one that I just got for Christmas, but I have reviewed it on this channel before, and that is Rock Hard 1977. This is by Devere Games. It's a 2024 game, and it is a game about trying to become a rock star, and it's a game that's designed by a rock star. Jackie Fox of the Runaways designed this game, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot more lighthearted, less violent, I guess, than most of the games that I really do like. But yeah, I mean, I was a musician in bands for over 20 years, so this one's kind of near and dear to my heart. It's a lot of fun. Basically, yeah, just building up your band. You're trying to get your notoriety and publicity. You're writing songs, recording albums, trying to get bigger deals, trying to get bigger venues and collect more money and candy. Really beautiful looking game. So can't say enough about it. Like I said, I did do a review on it, so you can check that one out. But number 8, Rock Hard 1977. Number 7 is by no means a new game, but it was new to me. And that is Raiders of the North Sea, Garfield Games. This is from 2015. Didn't realize it was that old. And I've got games that are very similar to this one, but yeah, this one, I don't know, I really like it a lot. Yeah, basically Raiders of the North Sea, Viking pillaging sort of thing, but it's got a lot of worker placement in which you have to work around gathering resources in order to, or provisions to take care of your raiders. You have to hire new raiders, which means you got to make silver to get them to be crew on your ship, so that eventually you can travel around and do your pillaging against outposts and monasteries and that sort of thing to boost your glory points. Really kind of cool character art in this. It's cartoonish, but it's a lot of fun. Yeah, had a lot of fun playing this one. Number 6 is, probably instantly got on my list just from an aesthetic standpoint. One that a lot of people haven't heard of, it is Court of the Dead. Now, it's made by Project Raygun and also by Sideshow Collectibles, which makes it a bit rare, I guess. This was a 2019 game, and I think they had much bigger ideas for an expanding universe with this game. But yeah, Court of the Dead is basically a game where you're playing a faction of the undead. And it's area control and combat, and it's really, like I said, aesthetically I think is the thing that just set it off for me. I feel like a lot of love went into this game. Somebody had a grand vision for this and they made it come to pass, and you can still get it. You can still get it on Sideshow Collectibles. So I don't know, I might do a review on this one just because I love the look of it so much. Like I said, it is an older game. This was a 2019 game. But you can go on Sideshow Collectibles and check it out, so see what you think. At number 5 is a game that I got from a friend. I have been working at painting up the miniatures for it, and most of the way through, really excited. Big, beautiful game. Lords of Ragnarok is number 5. This is from Awaken Realms. It's a 2023 game. Yeah, this is one of those games that has a little bit of everything, kind of like Side that I like, where it's, everything from area control to, you got your priests kind of doing a little bit of worker placement. You have multiple options of actions you can take per round, some combat. You got some monsters to fight. It's sci-fi Vikings. I mean, can you get cooler than that, right? Sci Vikings. How about that? Sci Vikings. But yeah, anyway, really enjoying this game. Like I said, soon I'll be done painting all the miniatures. It's hit or miss for some people, I get it, but I really enjoy it. So for me, number 5, Lords of Ragnarok. All right, number 4 brings about a couple of important lessons. It's a lesson on, again, about the expectations for a game. It's also a lesson on why you should get to know your friendly local game store guy or gal. For me, my local game store, the only one around, I've seen several come and go, but Da Vinci's DreamWorks 2 is the place where I go to get games in Jensen Beach, and Steve is the guy who hooks me up with whatever I need there. So I haven't got out there as much as I want to lately, but one of the last times I was in there, I was looking around, didn't really have anything necessarily that I wanted, just seeing what caught my interest. And Steve, who's gotten to know the kind of things I like, I think he's even watched a video or two, suggested that I try out one that you've probably all heard of, and that is the Lost Ruins of Arnak. This is by Czech Games, and it's a 2020 game. It's been around for a little while. But yeah, so Steve kind of said, knowing what you like, I think you'll like this one. And I took his word for it and took it home. Interestingly enough, the first time I played it, it was all right. So I went ahead and put the game on the shelf for a couple months. Didn't love it because of, I think, my expectations. Now, I didn't exactly know how the game worked. I just knew that a lot of people played it. I think maybe I was hoping to get a little deeper and not just end of this round, this game is over. But I waited a couple months and had different expectations now that I had played it. And on my second play, I loved it. Turned out Steve was right. So now I've played it several times. I also did get the Expedition Leaders expansion with this one. I have only played it once with the expansion. Seemed pretty cool. I haven't decided if I, like it more or less without. I imagine probably more options, but we'll get to that anyway. For now, yeah, number 4 is Lost Ruins, and Steve, thank you very much, and promise I will get back out there soon. So, promise. New Year's resolution. We're getting up to the top here, so we're getting to my favorite IPs, of course. But yeah, so number 3 is a fairly simple game. Anybody can learn how to play it really easy, but it's a lot of fun. It is the Star Wars deck building game. This is by Fantasy Flight, and it's a 2023 game. Now, of course, they have the Clone Wars version of this, which I haven't played that one yet. But yeah, the OT represented in the Star Wars deck building game, and very cool. I mean, basically, yeah, it's a deck builder. You are choosing either the Rebels or the Imperials, fighting against each other, trying to destroy each other's bases. There is a market in the center, where they call it the Galaxy Row, and you can purchase cards from there to add to your deck, as long as they are from your faction or neutral. However, if they're not, you can attack them while they're in the Galaxy Row, basically preventing your opponent from buying them, but also gaining other points from that as well. And you also have a way to move the Force to decide if it's more with you that gain additional bonuses. This is a really cool game, for as simple as it is, and I have downloaded the single player rules. I haven't played them yet, but I had a lot of fun at Thanksgiving playing with my little brother. Took this up there. Very fun game. I don't think there's a bad time for playing Star Wars, the deck building game. Number 2 is another 2024 game. This is The Lord of the Rings Duel for Middle-earth by Repost Production. I was not familiar with, I heard of other Duel games, of course, but I had not played any. And so I did not know what to expect. I actually thought this was going to be another deck building game. And I'm a huge Tolkien fan since I was a little kid. So yeah, I had to pick this one up, and it was a lot more fun than I thought it would be, and really a beautiful game too, for as small and as, few components that come with it. Everything is just really well designed in this. Basically, you are playing cards throughout the game, and you have a sort of a tableau in which you can pick from cards to add to your play area, but what you can pick is limited by what's blocking other cards. It's really cool. There's kind of several ways that you can win. I think there's 3 different ways you can win, and one is by gaining the favor of 6 other factions. One is by having presence on all the places on the Middle-earth map, and the other is by either getting the ring to Mordor or being a wraith that catches and intercepts that ring. So yeah, it's got this cool little slider for moving little hobbits across the board to carry the ring, or for the wraith to be tracking them. And this is just a lot of fun, really cool. Again, really simple. I also do have some downloaded and printed out some solo rules for this. Haven't actually played it yet. I'm a nerd. I can play against myself. What do I need that for? But I'll try it eventually. So if you watched my channel before, then you probably heard me say many times that my all-time favorite board game is Scythe by Stonemaier Games. So it's no surprise that my favorite addition to my collection this year was the sequel to Scythe. It was Expeditions, #1 Expeditions by Stonemaier Games, a 2023 game. I haven't got the expansion for that one yet, but definitely will be getting a hold of that soon. Like I say, it's a really cool game. You're using your mechs to travel into Siberia, looking for corrupted lands that you can vanquish the corruption. It plays in a similar manner to Scythe in that you have multiple actions. Something's always blocked, which you can't take, and different ways to score points on this. So I don't know if I necessarily call it thinky, but you definitely got to do a little bit of planning ahead in order to move in the direction that you want to do. I don't know why, I don't know what it is, but the Stonemaier games, they just really appeal to me, and so far, at least any of them that I've played. And yeah, Scythe and now Expeditions, just up there for me. So yeah, my #1 edition this year is going to be Expeditions. I did a review on it. I also did a video of painting the mechs on it. So if you get a chance, check those out. And it looks like that's going to be it for 2024. I do have some cool stuff coming. In fact, tune in next week as I will be talking about giving away some games in the upcoming 2025. So until then, I hope you guys will stay tuned, and I appreciate those of you who have been subscribed and who have been watching and participating in comments. I'd love to hear some of the favorite games you got this year. Please let me know. And until next year, get out there and roll some dice. Happy New Year.
Hey gamers, thanks again for watching. I really do appreciate all the support. It's one of the things I know that I can count on with the gaming community at large. This is of course to the point where I gotta ask you to like it, hit that subscribe button, and maybe share this with a friend. If you are a game designer, or maybe starting your own gaming company, and you want to do a little bit of cross promotion, maybe you got a prototype that you want me to check out and talk about on the show, definitely let me know. And of course, for all questions, suggestions, and corrections, there's all kinds of ways to get a hold of me. Probably the easiest one is just comment below. You can also send me an email at jackofallgamestt@gmail.com. The T stands for tabletop. And if you'd like to take a look at my commissioned miniature paint jobs, or even some of the other stuff in my life like photography or tattooing, which is what I do for my day job, go check it out on Instagram at Art of Wallace. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next episode.